This conference will now be recorded.
Today we plan to discuss to start SAC integrated financial planning. So as you know, SAC is a product which can handle planning, analytics, even predictions. So it's the tool. Earlier we used to use BPC, business planning and consolidation for the planning. Then we got BPC embedded for planning. Then we got BPC optimized for planning. Now SAC. SAC can integrate to S4 HANA. So for actuals, you can get it from S4 HANA or BW for HANA, or there are many other sources to get the actual data. So you can compare your actuals with the plan data and you can do the variance reports. So let's understand what I'm going to cover in this particular course. So SAC, as I said, like it's a planning, analysis, and integration tool. So also predictions also possible with this particular tool. In this particular course, we are going to work on planning. We are going to understand planning and we are going to get hands-on on planning scenarios. When I say planning scenarios, I'm talking about integrated financial planning. So we will start with expenses planning, like cost center expenses planning. Then we will find what is the activity cost, activity type price. Then we will understand product cost. Then we will see the sales and profitability planning. Then we will calculate the Capex, depreciations, project expenses planning. Then we'll do the P&L statement planning, balance sheet planning, at the end, cash flow planning. All these processes we need to understand because tomorrow when you implement, so you should know how these planning scenarios are implemented for your customer. Earlier, I mean, in earlier SAC sessions, what I used to do, I used to teach the product first. So when I say product, so whatever the terminology, SAC terminology like dimensions, members, models, data actions, add, I mean, the scripts, how to write the scripts. So first we need to, I used to teach the product, then I used to go for the process scenarios like integrated financial planning. This time, what I'm planning, we will go with the implementation training. So what is implementation training? Tomorrow, you might be a fresher, you might be experienced in BPC, or you might be a FI consultant. So if you want to implement financial planning, so what includes in the integrated financial planning, I'll explain in the later slide. So we are going to start as a consultant. When you start this particular SAC planning project, mainly planning project, what are the steps you have to follow basically? So the so now you know the new implementation methodology. Earlier, what we used to do, we used to collect the requirements, then blueprints, and then realizations and all those things. Now the process changed. Everyone knows. It's like SAP already delivered the content. So all SAP knows now. SAP knows what is your S4 HANA requirement. So when I say what is your S4 HANA requirement, that means so what you expect in FI, what you expect in accounts payable, what you expect in account receivable, what you expect in asset accounting. SAP knows. They developed the process, they developed the content, and they released. They know when you are talking about production planning, what is your expectation, what is the customer expectation. So nowadays, how the S4 HANA implementation is happening, you are adopting the content and you are adding whatever master data you want. So instant demos can be given based on the content given by SAP, right? Same thing applicable for SAC also. So before implementing the project, or before gathering the requirement, you can give demo to your customer based on this integrated financial planning content. Once you complete your demo to the customer, you will understand. I mean, when you are giving the demo, your customer comes with so many questions, right? You can note down those questions, you can analyze these questions, and you can come up with some. You might design a solution for that particular points, whatever the customer is requesting. So our course follows this particular process, content activation. After that, we will take sales and profitability planning or cost center expenses planning. We will decide on the flow. We will decide which scenario we'll execute. So, what is the content? So, SAP integrated financial planning content comes with all these scenarios. If you see this particular screenshot, you can see expenses planning, you can see product cost planning, you can see sales and profitability planning, you can see capex planning, you can see financial statement planning. So the same thing is also available in SAC. When I connect to SAC, the content is available in SAC. So I already activated the content, but I will tell you how to activate the content. So once you activate the content, it tells you SAP only gives all the stories required, all the calculations required, all the models required for this particular financial planning. This financial planning is tightly integrated with S4HANA. So why we need integrated financial planning? So tomorrow, if you want to know, right, what is your product cost estimate? Right? You can do that product cost estimate in SAC, and you can push back this cost estimate to your S4 HANA system. So export and import options SAP given. Now, for example, if I can, so we have to go to files. I'm just searching for the landing page. We can go to public, SAP content, integrated financial planning. So this content comes with a landing page. So you just need to expand this. This is the landing page. It takes few seconds to open the story or the landing page. So in this landing page, you can see all the scenarios, right? Like cost center expenses planning, product cost planning. So whatever, see operating expenses planning, operating expenses planning, product cost planning, sales and profitability planning, capital expenses planning, financial statement planning. So integrated financial planning for SAP S4HANA, you can see the name of the uh, particular page. So whatever data you plan here, you can push that data or you can export the data to S4HANA table ACDOC-P, right? ACDOC-P is for the planning data. ACDOC-A is for actual data. When you union these two tables, right, you will get the variance. When you get a report based on this ACDOC-A and ACDOC-P data in the S4HANA system, you can get all your actual versus plan reports. And also the plan data is used for the production orders, the plan data is used for the cost estimates, the plan data is used for activity price update, the plan data can be used for the raw material price update, whatever. So many things dependent on this particular plan data. Now, you see here this data flow. So what is included in the integrated financial planning? So you can see here, it starts with cost center expenses. Then the cost center expenses can be allocated to your manufacturing. So cost center expenses includes your common expenses plus all the other manufacturing expenses, service expenses, all expenses included in this cost center expenses. So you can allocate your operating expenses like building cost or consulting cost, whatever, to the manufacturing cost centers based on your activity quantity and activity cost, right? You can derive the activity prices. Then this activity price, why I need activity price? When I am estimating my product cost, in the product cost, I need the activity cost. Also, I need the raw material cost. So we have another scenario where I can calculate the raw material prices. I can calculate my product cost. I can product cost I can calculate because raw material prices are here, activity cost here. So once I know the product cost, it may be for a lot, it may be for each product. Yeah, you also have some integration points here. We will discuss this one later. So from the product cost estimate, you can get the from the CO, you can get the product cost estimate that based on the, and you can apply your trend or whatever. Also in the sales and profitability planning, you can get the sales quantity planning. So the prices also planned here. Sales quantity multiplied by the sales prices, which gives the sales, and product, and the sales quantity multiplied by the product cost basically gives the COGS. So then these are integrated to your P&L planning, Capex planning, and cash flow planning. So this content we will activate. We will go through the uh, 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 after activation. We will go through all these things so that you can give demo to your customer. So the next point, for each and every scenario, right? You need to understand the data cut. So for example, we will take cost center expenses planning or sales quantity planning, either one. So after that, we will understand the data cut. When I say the data cut, you have to understand the data set. So what kind of data? So in the cost center expenses, what dimensions we need to add? Why those dimensions we need to add? What is the master data for those dimensions? What is the account dimension? What is the organization dimension? What is the generic dimension? And each and every dimension, what types of properties SAP delivered. If I want my planning horizon to be defined, where I can mention the start date and end date, where my cost center expenses data, so the model, how the model is created. So all the models are new model types. What is new model type? If I want to define my formulas, that may be member formula, that may be KPI, that may be currency translation, where to define those currency translations, where to define those formulas, measures, and all those things. We also need to understand how to create the input templates, how to create the stories. Stories basically used to create these input templates. When you want to create the input templates, you need some dynamic tables. So if I select my plan year as 2023, it should get 2022 as my actual data. You need templates for your rolling forecast. You need templates for your forecast. So how to define the rolling forecast, how to define the forecast templates. Then we need some calculations, like when you have expenses, you need to define the allocation. So allocation basically is a logic. You need to know who is sender, who is the receiver, and what is the driver for the allocation. So how to define these allocations? If you have local currencies in the cost center expenses, you want to see the data in the group currency, and how you do the currency translation, where to maintain the currency exchange rates. Also, you need to understand what are the date. So for example, your customer might want to plan top down. So whether top down, how to do the top down planning using multiple hierarchies, how to do the bottoms up planning using this particular cost center expenses. Bottoms up is you plan at cost center level, then you aggregate it. Top down is based on that company code or higher level, you define your expenses and allocate down level, distribute to the down levels. Right. So how the activity prices derived, what are the calculations? So if you want to use some additional advanced formulas, how to use those additional advanced formulas. Sometimes I want to plan it 1 month, I want to copy to the 12 months. So what are the copy options? What are the delete options available? And if you see this cost center expenses are moved to the P&L planning, how it is moving, see, you can see this arrow, it is moving. So for that, you need to define cross model copy calculations. How to define the cross model copy when you are defining these formulas, how to define the parameters, what kind of parameters you can define, how to pass the values to these parameters, that we are going to understand. So cross model, how the data is moved from different models, we will understand. Then once my planning is done, all right, so I need to log the data, how to log the data. For the planning, I need some process like BPFs in BPC, business planning and consolidation. And also for planning, I need some predictions. For example, there is a concept called value driver tree. Based on the drivers, you can estimate your top level, how the adjustments are impacted. So when I change the quantity, how my gross revenue is affected. Based on the value driver tree, I can do. I told you earlier, like I can also use the predictions. We have prediction capabilities. So what I mean by prediction capabilities, for example, if I go here, you have predictive scenarios. So SAP delivered some predictive scenarios. So in that, we are going to understand time series important. For planning, time series important. Classifications are there. See here, classification, regression, time series forecast are there. But we are going to use time series forecast. I'm not going to discuss classification and regression. But once you understand time series, you can understand these two also. And also, I have some forecasting techniques. So what are the forecasting techniques we can use here? So for example, automatic forecast. There is a forecasting technique. And also you have uh, uh, something called uh, triple exponential smoothing. So how to use those forecasting techniques, that also we will understand. So here you are going to understand in this particular process, right? So I'm going to explain how the P&L planning is derived, how the P&L planning. So operating income, gross margin, operating expenses, each and every line item is a calculation. So the data is coming. So for example, payroll and benefits, it should come from that particular HR model, workforce planning model or whatever. Cost of goods sold, it is coming from the sales and profitability planning. Net revenue, it is coming from the sales and profitability planning. How this planning, how the P&L is related, we are going to understand. Also the relevant dimensions we are going to understand. Also we are going to understand models and the stories. So this is the overall. So my point here is, we are going to understand. If you see, I listed here master data. So the content wise we are going to understand all the planning relevant uh, uh, product development, relevant key terms. We are going to understand how to create that one, those objects in the SAC. We are going to understand. Also we are going to understand all these we are going to execute all these exercises like master data creation, how to create a new model, how to import transaction data, master data, right? And smart transformations, data wrangling, creating the input templates, adding the new members, comparing the data, distributions using top-down planning, bottom-up planning, understand the currency translation, rolling forecast, forecast templates, predictive forecast capabilities, linear regression, triple exponential smoothing, automatic forecast, smart predictive scenarios, value driver trees, copy data between months, copy data between models, understand the advanced formula, see multi-actions, there is a new concept. So create and execute allocations, validation rules. Validation is member validation, master data validation. Like in BPC embedded, we have something called characteristic relationships. We are going to understand that. Crowdsourcing. So you can create some input tags and you can collaborate with your team members so that you can collect data, plan data from different sales agents or whomever. Data locking, process controls, security. So the product wise, we are going to execute all these 23 exercises, right? Wherever trial version. So I'm going to tell you how to create the SAC trial version. Okay? And we are going to follow. So tomorrow, if you join as a consultant, or if you take the particular this particular SAC project, how to start, where to start, how to adopt all the content. So the content SAP delivered. So whatever SAP delivered content, yeah, you have to follow. So SAP delivered. See, if I go to the story, this is financial statement planning story. So what we will do, we will take one particular scenario, we will start adopting SAP delivered content. First, we will finish the demo as per SAP given sample data. Later, we will understand the planning templates or stories given by SAP. Right. So what is like you can copy. So for example, if you see the template, you can copy the P&L balance sheet from actuals, and you have some other parameters also. What are the options you have when you are giving the solution? These things we are going to understand. Yeah. So this is the overall plan. It's almost, I mean, this course is one minute. So this course is planned for 30 hours, right? So this course, you can and I will share you the configuration steps if you want to give the demo, the sample data, how to execute the sample data, those configure those steps to follow. That I will share. Also, I will share all the documents. So, for example, if you want to go for the certification, so it's this course. After this course, you can go for the certification. I'm going to give you the certification, whatever material required for the certification. And yeah, so this session is every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It's 6:30 p.m. India time. 6:30 p.m. India. Give me 1 minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
So total 30 hours. It will take more than 30 hours, right? Weekend session, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. I give. I'm going to provide you configuration steps and PDF documents, and the cost of the course 30,000 INR. I will help you to get the trial user. You can also get the trial user, and I will give you the sample master data and transaction data for practice. Right. So, any questions now?
Do we like can we practice this planning in trial version? Like earlier, it was not available, as I know.
You can. We will execute in the trial version only. You can see, right? I
Okay.
showed you, right? Yeah.
And are we required to have BPC like in actual scenarios? Is it required to have BPC in the backend, or can we run directly on S4 HANA directly?
We are running in the SAC itself.
No,
So
that's
all these
fine.
scenarios. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
What I mean, like before SSC, I remember like I used to get the mails for like for BPC. Okay. Uh,
Hmm.
so for now, the BPC will not be available, or like so they're gonna do every functionality of BPC in SAC only, and the data would be saved in backend S4 HANA system, or how would it be derived? Because earlier BPC was big, no? So BP in
Right, right.
wherein we
So
had the yeah,
your question was like in BPC data was stored in BW for HANA as
yeah,
in the
yeah,
info cube. So how this SAC data is? So SAC is having a database. So because it's a cloud solution, the database is maintained by SAP, right? So the model
okay,
data will be there in the database. So that there you don't have access to the database as it don't give the access to the database, but you can see the data. So for example, when you go to the SAC, so in the model, when you open the model, there itself you can see the data available.
yeah, yeah. I've seen. I know SAC in terms of like normal story making and all, but from planning perspective, I'm not aware. So my see what I really want to understand now, SAC is having planning capabilities. Okay, so is it
Hmm.
a replacement of BPC like or like they are plan like SAP is projecting it as a replacement for future? Are they going to sell
Hmm.
BPC also or like like it would be mainly moved to SAC completely? This is
See,
what
there
my
is a
I want to understand.
always there is a change in the products. For example, you know ECC, right?
Yeah,
Now it's S for HANA,
yeah,
correct? Same way, earlier BW, now BW for
mm,
HANA. Yeah,
yeah,
BPC planning, then they come up with BPC embedded planning, then BPC optimized planning. So there are some differences.
hmm,
So live data, import data, all these things. And SAC, now SAP is selling SAC because SAC is having more capabilities when you compare with the other products like BPC.
yeah, true.
Right, it has live options, it has import options, it has prediction options, it has very good analytics capability, and you can do custom applications within SAC using analytics designer. So the product is, even you can see, for example, earlier what you used to do, so you have business objects for the visualizations or whatever, then BPC is for planning, and then you have actuals in ECC. So somewhere, so you have a BW as a box, you will get the plan data, you will get the actual data, then this actual plan data you will move to the business objects for the dashboards and all those things,
Yeah.
right? So how many products are there? Now only one product, SAC, which can give all these solutions.
So whatever BPC was capable of doing, it is now all like now all functionalities of BPC are available in SAC. Yeah.
Correct. So in other terms, I will tell that whatever you said, in the other terms, I will tell, right? SAC is more than BPC. BPC can provide only planning, but SAC can provide all planning, BPC planning capabilities plus predictions plus analytics.
True. See, other for other capabilities, I'm clear because in my like in my current work, I'm working on SSC itself. So now, for the future, like not future, the current sales wherever the companies are going for planning. So are they going for SSC or they have to like they are going with BPC and the front end is only SSC? This is what I really want to understand. Like
See,
if a
if
company
all
wants
there
to
is
go,
two types, right? Already you
mm,
implemented BPC and working on BPC. So your
mm,
customer already implemented BPC. So they are
yeah.
using BPC. So now it's their decision, right? For the planning, they can use BPC. For reporting and for other SAC capabilities, they can use. So there is a integration point between BPC and SAC. They can use BPC as it is, and they can use SAC for the reporting and other capabilities, right? If they want to go with the technology, right? So sometimes there is a way, so there is another way. So for example, SAC, the data is with SAP, correct? It's a SAC is a cloud platform, so the data is in SAP's control. Your customer might not okay with that. They don't want to save with their data with SAP in the cloud, SAP cloud solution. They want in their on-premise systems. Then it's a separate ballgame. So it depends. You all can't go to SAC. So based on their
Mhm.
policies, they might go for on-premise implementations.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks for clarification.
Any other questions from other participants?
Yes, Kieran. Just wondering, when is the start date for this
Tomorrow.
call?
Tomorrow. It's continuous from tomorrow. So I sent the meeting request, same meeting request we are going to use for the same tomorrow. From the next weekend onwards, it will be 1 hour before we will start. But tomorrow we will start at the same time like today.
Oh, so technically, this is the beginning of the course, actually.
Correct, correct. This is the beginning of the course. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think. Can I just catch up with you after this call, this session, and then have a quick call, chat with you?
Yeah, just send an email. Today I mean, I have immediately I have another session. So definitely we'll catch up on Monday.
Okay. All right.
Hi,
Yeah,
this is Jagdish here. I have a couple of questions. In our
yeah.
session, right, in our training, you'll be taking S4 as a source, right? Not BW or like the other person was talking, right? BPC as a source, right?
So we are not talking about in this course, we are not going to talk about the connections and how to load the data. All right. So I have S4 HANA how to load the master data like hierarchies, ideas. I have earlier I recorded some demo. It's there in the YouTube. I can show. So we are not going to talk about any connections, how to link the data, how to activate the data services, all those things we are not going to do. We are going to talk about integrated financial content and how to use that content actually. So because connections, it's part of it's not available. So we need those systems. That too, if that is part of loading the data is always, I mean, uh, connections it's assumed that connections are already established, right? I will take data from the flat file, whatever data required, all the master data transaction data, we will take it from the actual flat files, and based on the flat file only we are going to understand transformations, wrangling and all those concepts. We are not going to get data from S4 or PW
Oh, okay, okay. So everything is based out of flat file, right?
canvas, correct.
Okay, and one more thing, we have a BPC functions, right? Are you covering similar kind of a BPC functions in this course? Uh,
Yeah, BPC functions means you are talking about BPC embedded planning functions.
Yeah, like copy delete. I know these are the standard functions. Like, if you want to manipulate the data with certain business rules, right? Will
Ha,
you be
ha, ha, ha.
covering that as well?
That's what I told, right? So the calculations, formulas, data actions, copy, cross model copy, or currency translations we are going to discuss. Yes, advanced formulas. We call it
Okay.
here advanced forms. So you have Fox formula, you have script logic in BPC, standard script logic, BPC embedded Fox formula. Here we call it as advanced formula.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah. So tomorrow we are going to
Kiran,
connect with the same time, same time. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I got a question. See, being a classic BW consultant, or I would say advanced BW for HANA consultant, but not having any
Hmm,
exposure to S4 or SAC, okay, will this
hmm.
help here?
That's what the point of this particular course, right? In this particular course I'm going to explain you. So for example, I always keep it in my mind that whomever is learning, right, they have they if they are freshers, even then they can go for the planning project. So entire scenarios I'm going to explain. So once you have hands on, definitely you can go and implement planning. We are going to discuss total process scenarios, all the
Excellent.
process scenarios required for integrated financial planning.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Kiran, are you going to cover the application designer as well?
Application designer is a separate course. It's
Application designer is a separate course. And then when you're talking about the processes, right? So I heard there is a process called actualization in the planning. Are you going to cover that as well?
mm, actualization in the planning. Not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I have to check what is this actualization in planning. I never heard.
Maybe he is referring, you want to know, take act for the past periods, right? You want to take actuals as a source. For example,
So
if you are
that
in
is
like
that is
a,
the,
yeah,
that is all. Any planning product, you need actual data for the comparison and
No,
variance
no.
calculation.
Actualization is a process before the planning process kicks off, right? So that's what the actualization. Even I am not sure, but I heard that term actualization is going to happen. So something like on the actual side, what they are going to do is they're going to what do you call the material prices, for example, the material prices which they're going to standardize to a particular price which they're calling it as an actualization. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to check whether do you aware of such things.
No.
Okay.
but in
And
financial planning, right, actualization is nothing but when you are in Q1, right, they will take like first two periods are actuals since you already
Will
passed
we?
at first two periods. Yeah.
that is something. See,
Yeah,
actual planning is
that's
dependent on
okay.
the.
That's okay. No, no. Let's stop that question. So that we will see later. So anything relevant to this SAC integrated financial planning. So actualization in planning, I don't know the term. So we'll
Mm.
park that.
And what about the security? Are we going to cover that
Yeah,
security?
we are going to cover the security. So I will explain how what is user team or how the roles are created in SAC and what is planning reporter role. So tomorrow, if you want, you are going to a project, if you want to check your roles or if you want to ask the administrator for what roles you required, how to all the terminologies, activities you are going to understand. Yes, we are going to discuss.
And
You will be showing
also,
the
are we going to
standard
create
roles or
any
the
input
custom
forms?
roles also?
Yeah, we are going to create input form stories calculations in the stories. Yes.
But instead
Okay.
of referring to standard content, Kiran, are we going to see any kind of a project implementation so that how the landing page look like in a real-time project, and then from there onwards we can take up the scenarios, right? So probably that would be better. I know this course is more towards the what do you call product familiarity plus the standard content familiarity, but just wanted to
Correct. Yeah,
understand,
yeah.
is there any stand?
Very good point you made. See, you are saying real-time project and landing page from the real-time project. Correct.
Right, yeah.
So, right. So now integrated financial planning is a fixed process. It won't maybe product cost. I mean, one company might be a service, one company can be a manufacturing, one company can be a oil and gas. Then based on the industry, there might be some changes, but integrated financial planning, so all those are fixed process. For example, I implemented planning process for one customer. I have
Mm,
taken requirements, blueprints, and realization, all these things, and I created the process. I created my own dimensions. I created my own model, right? After that, I created the landing page, right?
mm,
So your point is take that landing page based on that you do the thing. So to get that landing page, I spent around 1 year because that's what the experience, right? So
true.
that work, whatever 1 year I did, right?
Mm,
More than that is available here as a landing page. Whatever I did, right, in a project, for example, real-time project, whatever you said, more than that available in the integrated financial planning. Whatever you said, that was the old technique to implement the projects. We should go with the new techniques. First, we have to know what is the content available. After that, we have to adopt the content. You are so now we are not going to create anything new, right? Whether that may be S4 HANA, that may be BW for HANA, that may be SAC or any other product. The implementation methodology changed. You are asking the old methodology. I'm saying we are going to follow the new methodology.
okay. And probably the last question, Kiran, from my side. So are we going to discuss anything from the architectural point of view? Like, let's see. I know the landing page, the standard content is available, and we are going through you're giving us a walkthrough on the standard content, right? But
Hmm.
how the standard content was prepared, the architecture point of view, and what was the decisions made to design like this, right? So those are the insightful thoughts which I would like to understand.
Yeah. We are going to discuss architecture overview and the integration points.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions from other
So,
participants?
Kiran, one question, like, shall we cover digital dash room and smart discoveries also?
Smart discovery we are going to cover. What is the other one? Digital?
Digital dashboard, etc.
No. With the trial year, it's not possible.
Digital dash room,
Digital boardrooms.
Digital
dashboard.
boardroom not possible, but that is a separate thing. Like
Hmm.
you need digital dashboard means three. You need separate screens for that.
Hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So will I'm stopping the recording now. So tomorrow